Welcome to the Tough Love Podcast with Essential Gigi. I'm Gigi, and today we're going to continue on the topic of having emotionally healthy relationships. Last week, we talked about why having emotionally healthy relationships is important, and a little bit also about having an emotionally healthy relationship with ourselves. On today's episode, we are going to discuss having an emotionally healthy relationship with our body image, and moving our body, not only at the gym or like in fitness, but also how we move throughout the day and learning to move throughout the day with intention. A little disclaimer again that the topics that are discussed on the Tough Love podcast are based on my personal and professional experiences and also my interpretation of what I've learned and continue to learn. So, with having a emotionally healthy relationship with myself, that leads to having an emotionally healthy relationship with my body. Even though I've always been a big girl growing up, plus size, part of my family were all big girls. It was always expected of me to be big. But that wasn't my reality once I learned everything that I learned. That also helped me not be ashamed of being a big girl. And maybe not being ashamed of being a big girl kept me as a big girl for a very long time. I was 24 when I decided to make a change. I had just turned 24 when I decided to do a lifestyle change. And that's because I would see family members on these fad diets and going to these clinics and getting all of these prescribed pills or seeds or whatever. Nothing ever really worked. And so I just never thought that it was something for me being a skinny person until I finally felt unhealthy. I was 24 years old and I felt unhealthy. I was really big. I was 250 pounds almost. And my body just was tired. My body was achy. My big girl clothes were ripping and it was time to size up. That's when I was just like, okay, this is not healthy whatsoever. And that's where my lifestyle change started. But it wasn't because I wasn't happy with my body. I would be the chubby girl in the bikinis. Two of the things that I would recommend in having an emotionally healthy relationship with our body is, for one, body positivity. Even when it isn't in the best shape, or we know, we have weight to lose and we haven't done the best, or we haven't been eating and exercising, we should love our body then because we only have one body. It has carried us in this extra weight, even in this crappy environment, feeding it this crappy food, and it's still working for us. That is something to be so grateful for. When I was 250 pounds, so it was in 2010, I also thought about how I got there. Obviously, that sounds like a horrible thing to think about. I'm overweight, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't an unhappy individual, but it made me want to know how I got there. That's the way I think. How did I get to be this big? And there's positive in that answer. Being around food, delicious Mexican food. And so, yes, I needed to make a change, but I wasn't going to shame myself for being a big girl. It's unhealthy to do that. Gratitude has shown, it has been proven that it rewires your nervous system when you show gratitude. So thanking your body for what it has done for you, it has carried you, being able to do those things and have gratitude help you have a positive body image. And if we're not used to that, not all of us wake up saying thank you for this body, but if we want to make that a focal point of our life to achieve a positive body image, let's put those post-its up. Put them up so we have reminders from ourselves to love ourselves. Yes, it sounds corny, but put the post-it up. Love your body. It has carried you so far. It has gone through so much. If we have gone, like for me, I went 24 years abusing my body, then I should love my body and start nurturing and caring for my body. We should love ourselves enough to want to take care of our body. That's what we should do. Now, today, take care of our body. Give it a massage, oil it up, rub your feet, take a bath. Whatever that means to you, let's do it. What are we waiting for? That leads me to the next part of, or part two of, what I feel is important about having an emotionally healthy relationship with our body is loving our bodies enough to also care enough that we are overweight, care enough that we're in chronic pain, care enough that we have gut issues. And we have to stop enabling these unhealthy habits. We are promoting and encouraging unhealthy lifestyles. And then we're claiming that it's a healthy way of dealing with our emotional and mental wellness. No, toxic foods and chemicals and toxic fragrances are not benefiting our mental health. They're not benefiting our emotions. Episode 2 proves that a lot of these fragrances and things like that are hormone disruptors. So we are causing more emotional damage. We are causing mental issues. We are causing being sad and moody and overweight, inflammation, aches and pains by doing the things society tells us is healthy. Some of those examples is indulging in a spa treatment. You go to the place that sells the fragrances and the dyes in the fragrances and all of these things because that's what marketing is telling us to do. Go get the spa kit. Go get the mani and pedi that is causing you more hurt. And so that's what I mean about society promoting and encouraging unhealthy lifestyles. Because I'm promoting go put one ingredient oil, go dry brush, take a bath, use some one ingredient's essential oils, not a fragrance, an essential oil that was derived from a plant source. The best way to heal is to let go of all the things that are getting us sick. Not everyone likes to hear it, but that's the truth. How do we expect to get healthy if we don't let go of the things that are making us unhealthy? I've had to turn clients away when their mentality is, I'm just not ready for this and I'm just not ready for that, and it's okay. I'm not going to shame you for not being ready. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Nobody's going to force you. It has to come from within you. You have to realize yourself, okay, if I don't drink, I'm going to dehydrate here. And so I've had those tough initial consultations where I understand this is just not going to work out because it's that barrier. We have to shift our mindset first. And I'm so thankful for these podcasts as well, because I feel like now I'll also have somewhere to send those free consultations as well of like, hey, maybe listen to episode 1 and 2, and then we can have a consultation because it is really a mindset. And these are exercises that I do with my clients as well. Because if we do not change the way we think, if we do not rewire our brain, then we're going to continue to go down the same paths that we have been going that are clearly not working for us. And the reason I know they're not working for us, especially if you're getting a consultation with me, is because we obviously acknowledge that there's a shift we need to make. If you come for a consultation, but then everything that has brought you to this place is what's keeping you there as well, then there will be a change that needs to be made. I hope that makes sense. I hope by this point you have at least decided to love yourself a little differently. Maybe you already do, which is great. We also need to have an emotionally healthy relationship with moving our body. It's important in so many ways. If we work sitting down, we should get up and look around, do some exercises. You can find them online where you look down, look up, look down, look up, look at different things, especially if there's birds. You want to exercise your eyesight that way if you're constantly just looking at a screen. Do some office stretches to stretch your back so you're not hunched over. Depending on your fitness level, if you're more advanced, you might have already a fitness routine. I always recommend to consult with the studio and talk to a trainer there so they can get you going on some good exercises. And of course, at least for me, I always recommend to practice proper form. It's always better to work out safely, get the rep done the right way so that you work all those muscles, so that you don't hurt yourself and then have to postpone your workouts for a couple of weeks. And you're going to get the best out of your workout and then start working on doing more repetitions. Then start working on going heavier. But even if you have to drop the weights and practice the movements first so you get the correct form, that it's very important. If you don't move often, try 5 minutes of walking every day. You can start by doing, 5 minutes of walking one day a week and then slowly increase it. The benefits to walking every day for those of us who are able is amazing for our mental and emotional health. If you're disabled or have difficulty with mobility, try sitting outdoors for 5 minutes and just take a few deep breaths, like real deep, nourishing breaths, and that should help your mood as well. And so I want to say this, the lower version of ourselves will be complaining about the extra work, the extra movements, or whatever to get to the higher version of ourselves. But the higher version of ourselves is getting shit done. Again, what were your characteristical words to describe who you want to be? Like I've said before, we're growing and we're evolving. All good things like optimum health and wellness will take hard work. But let's be honest, 5 minutes of walking once a week to start is not that much hard work. You got this. To know that your energy, your mind, your body, your spirit are healthy and well, it's just so worth it. And it's such a blissful place to be. All of these little small changes are what are going to make your lifestyle sustainable. I said it earlier, like when I work out, I talk to myself pretty tough, but I also talk to myself this way to kind of shut out my negative thoughts. When I'm working out, I like to feel the exercise, squeezing, burning, tightening, all of these wonderful sensations. I had a trainer that she used to say, love the burn. And we did. Working out and feeling these sensations is a really good time to focus on the benefits of the movement you're doing. So avoid getting distracted. A lot of us like inviting friends to work out, and that's great. It helps us hold each other accountable. But during your actual rep, just focus. Focus on what you're doing. Imagine your belly fat melting, with every ab count. Imagine your cellulite melting right off as you're squeezing your glutes tight on a deadlift. The micro focus mindset, because our brain and our body is like this amazing machine, will take our fitness routine to higher levels. I love these gems on the Tough Love podcast. They're my favorite. It's just like my little secrets that have helped me accomplish my goals along the way, because I've had obstacles and I've had to figure ways of being flexible with my workout, with my foods, with my daily life. Another little gem, since we're here, is that I also practice proper form throughout my day. I check myself when I'm washing the dishes. I keep my glutes tight. If I'm sitting at a computer, I try not to be hunched over. When I walk, I'm not just gliding, I'm walking with intention. Even when I'm out running, a lot of people are much faster runners than me because I grew up having asthma, and so I've learned to make sure my torso's tight and strong, right? It's protecting my lungs, it helps me breathe better. And if I'm going to be a slower runner, I work my arms in a certain way where I'm also getting like my love handles and the back of my arms are working out. Sometimes I'm doing shoulder presses with nothing in my hands, but I have that energy and my legs are not that fast, right? Because I'm also focusing on breathing well. These are calorie burners also. And keeping your torso tight and strong is practicing nature's natural corset. We don't need these waist snatchers that actually, if you look into them, they hinder your body's ability to build that muscle. We don't need a corset. We don't need waist trainers. We have a built-in waist trainer within our muscles. So also when I pick up my kids, I squat often. I do bench presses with them. And I try not to overdo it because I'm also mindful that I don't want to be too sore where the next day I can't pick them up. And so I have to listen to my body. If I overworked out, I make note of it so that I don't do that again. So being mindful. Want to live a healthier lifestyle but don't know where to start? Tired of fad diets that get you nowhere? Maybe you got to your goal, but you can't afford the expensive supplements. Reach your fitness goals, but still struggling with chronic health issues? I'm holistic lifestyle coach Gigi, founder of Cultura Sensual Enhanced Wellness. I created a personal health and wellness assessment you can't get anywhere else to help you reach optimum health and start living your best life. Click on the link, culturasensual.com, fill out the application at the end for your free consultation with me. This is your sign so that you can choose to start taking care of yourself. Next week on the Tough Love Podcast with Essential Gigi. We're going to move on to the next relationship, emotionally healthy relationship with our food. Food is nourishing to our body. The food that we consume is either going to heal us or it's going to harm us. And we make that choice every single day with every single meal or every single thing that we put in our body. We won't go into on and what we breathe and all that. That was episode 2. So with this, we are consciously making this decision. It's like going back to a toxic relationship over and over and over every time we consume toxic food ingredients over and over. But we don't talk about it this way, and we should, because diet culture has deprived us from calories and certain foods. Majority of people who say they eat healthy are actually under eating. And so we go to the other extreme. I can't be extremely healthy. That's too little calories and that's a lot of salads. So we go to the other extreme where we overeat. We don't find a balance. Our problem isn't overeating. Our problem is overeating the wrong things. Send in your questions or messages. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so that you don't miss new episodes on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm Gigi. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Tough Love Podcast with Essential Gigi. This will be the realest shit you're gonna hear. Bye.